Previously on the Tour de Timor.
That's going to be probably pretty tough.
Just going to go and hopefully stay with the fast group.
It was a good stage for us.
Towards the end it was getting really hot and
got a good downhill coming up now.
It is 11th September, the midway stage of a grueling 600 plus kilometer mountain bike race across Timor-Leste, and it is experiencing the third edition of this international event, the biggest in the young nation's history. The seaside village town of Biasu is scenic to say the least, with all buildings from the colonial era a reminder of years gone by. It is also considered crocodile country. Another day dawns as the Ford fleet of front convoy vehicles moves ahead to Iliomar ahead of the race. And on this particular morning, Biasu was filled with the sights and sounds of the Tour de Timor as once again the 400-odd riders begin their daily preparation of another day of mountain bike racing. But this time, it is a stage where everyone is looking forward to, for obvious reasons.
The scenery's so amazing, and like every time you ride through a village with like everyone screaming, you just get goosebumps. Like it's those moments where you just like goosebumps everywhere, and it's just, yeah, amazing.
Enjoying the morning, local national female rider Francelina Anche Cabral is never without her constant smile as she delights in the company of her fellow riders. Yet for her fellow countryman Orlando da Costa, each preparation is filled with a focus of an impending battle ahead. American rider and elder statesman Tinker Juarez, who is amongst the leaders after two stages, also welcomes the next race.
I am excited because it's shorter today, but it doesn't mean it's going to be not fast. But the main thing is today is that I feel much better than I did yesterday, so I'm happy about that. And but yeah, it'd be nice to be able to get it done today and get my equipment all cleaned up. I haven't had a chance to clean anything on my bike or anything, so we'll have plenty of time to do all this kind of stuff.
As the breakfast queue lengthens, it is also a time for some to reflect the previous day's action. The elite female riders are amongst the first who have prepared early and are ready for the day ahead.
A bit of flat roads, hopefully smooth roads, but I don't think so. And then just a hill to finish. So it's a short day today, so we're just looking forward to getting to the other end and hopefully resting up a bit for the next couple of days.
And how about you? How are you going?
Yeah, good. I think, from what I've heard, today's flat start will hopefully mean that we can sit in a little bit with the boys and get a bit of a ride. And then, the climb I think is going to be pretty tough. It sounds like it's a little bit more goat trail kind of climb. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, hopefully it'll be a good first half of the ride and sit in and relax, and then let's see what happens from there.
With the campsite awake from its peaceful slumber, the riders and volunteers alike are getting ready to secure their belongings as the mammoth task of moving to the next town begins. For the Indonesian riders, it was a moment to reflect before another hard day of racing.
Dari luar banyak banget, dari Amerika, dan bertandingnya deket lagi. Iya. Rugi ya. Dapat makan lagi. Iya.
Kalau makan sih nggak ada masalah mas, cuman yang masalah kan kapan lagi mereka bisa bertanding sama orang-orang luar.
But with tiredness a major factor after 2 days of solid riding, fitness is an important factor. Race director Mark Behrens stresses the fact that the Tour de Timor is certainly not a walk in the park.
It is epic, absolutely epic, you know, and I certainly encourage that if anybody is coming to do this, please, it's fantastic, but please have a good level of fitness. The course is tough, but you know, it was never said that it was going to be easy.
Stage 3 is the shortest of the 6 stages, which will take the riders through one of the most scenic areas of the south of Timor-Leste, in a total of 71.5 kilometers of terrain, to another mountain village town of Iliomar. The riders are all pumped up for what will be a shorter race after the exertions from the first 2 stages, and the enthusiasm is evident as race director Mark Berens begins the countdown.
3, 2, 1, go!
It is all systems go as they begin their short but challenging journey ahead. The terrain is mostly flat at the early stages of the race, and with the crowds of people thronging the villages along the way in support of the event, it was mostly the fast bunch of lead riders who kept the pace hard as they wound their way towards the south coast of the country. But flat as it was, there was always a hint of danger lurking. Meanwhile, further behind, an early friendly battle was shaping up between the young Indonesian riders and their hosts. But at the same time, the scenery along the route is breathtaking as riders are treated through beautiful paddy and cornfields along the way. At the beachside, however, a small crowd had come up to watch the lead riders whiz past the coastal road. For some riders, it was a moment to take in the amazing environment. The stage introduces a different form of terrain of loose roads winding its way through jungle and a final ascent into Iliomar. And this is where the lead bunch breaks up again as Luke Fetch and Paul van der Plug plotted their breakaway from the main group. The steepness of the climb is unforgivable as each rider strains to push their mountain bikes up towards the end, but some were still in high spirits.
Don't worry, be happy.
At the finish line, crowds of children have gathered to cheer on the incoming riders, and for them this was a special moment, having their school as the finish line and campsite for this stage. But more importantly, the medical team begin their daily ritual of setting up the medical tent, and it is by far no mean feat. And as expected, Paul van der Plug crosses the finish line in 2 hours 33 minutes and 34 seconds, with teammate Luke Fetch a mere second behind. A moment to savour for Paul on his first win of the tour, and a great win for his team as well.
It was a pretty good stage for us. The Search to Retain team was just controlling the bunch along the first 45k of flat roads. There was a lot of potholes and stuff, so it was good to have a nice even pace, and the guys who know how to find the smooth lines were on the front, just swerving around all the potholes and bridge ruts and things like that. So yeah, it was good.
And Luke was pleased with the team's performance.
If you ask Scott and Neil, I'm sure they won't say it was such an easy stage, but yeah, for us just sitting on, it was really awesome just to have the team all working for us, and yeah, that last climb was pretty tough, but yeah, no, it's good to get on the podium again.
Individual 2010 winner Adrian Jackson managed to take third, but struggled with the final part of the course.
Luke and Paul broke away just at the bottom of the last steep climb. I was struggling in the rough stuff. My light little frame sort of bounces off all those rocks, and those little bit bigger guys just power through them, so I was struggling when it got rough a bit up that last climb, yeah.
American legend Tinko Juarez also suffered despite coming in at 4th place.
I felt a little bit recovered from yesterday because I really, cracked hard yesterday, and but I guess I was maybe expecting to think I was going to be like brand new today, but I definitely felt still a little bit tired going up the climbs. I didn't have the quick snap that I needed and stuff like that. But the main thing is I was able to hang a lot better. But going up climbs like that, it's really just difficult for me. On loose ground rocks like that, there's just no traction, and you just got to, sit on your saddle and just kind of bounce, roll over the stuff. And but these guys attacked on a KLA, and I just didn't have any chance. There was just, once they get a gap on you, you just got to just get traction and worry about yourself without getting off the pedals.
And the scenic setting certainly was not lost upon him.
Scenery was awesome, really, really awesome. It definitely made me want to just kind of pull over to the side, man. It would have been nice. No, it was just amazing to see so much beach and there's just nobody there, But it was really beautiful. That was really the best part of this stage. Was so far my favorite one.
Female elite rider Naomi Hansen finished first amongst the ladies, but was accompanied by her teammates at the finish line.
Okay, our team tactic today was pretty much hang with the front bunch as long as we could, and we were kind of fortunate that all three of us were there till the bottom of the climb, and then just climb up the climbers at our own pace, and that was pretty much how it panned out, which was really good. And we just hung in the bunch and they were hawking along, and it was really, really hard. But then we got to the bottom of the climb, it all kind of fragmented, and then the three of us just rode up together.
For local hero Orlando da Costa, it was another feather in his cap as the first Timorese in Iliomar.
Consegue mai tetuk na ba ami servisi kipa Indonesia, Australia, o Timor-Leste. Consegue sira mai subida na, garantia katak subida o sewa sira. Mai koe subida na, o sewa sira consegue ami la servisi kipa. Ya subida na so how message mo.
Due to the short nature of the stage, many riders managed to finish the race in less than 7 hours. There was plenty of daylight left for them to enjoy the day. Even the rear convoy manages to catch up as unfinished riders and bikes arrive in good spirits. And for the people of Iliomar, they were blessed with compliments from all around. The award ceremony was filled with tradition as Michael Stone, General Manager for the Tour de Timor and racing in the event for the first time, is feted by the local community leaders.
Yeah, I think understandably anxious and in my preparation, but I've taken things pretty conservatively, and I've had a great partner in Steve Draper who's been dragging me along, getting me probably much further than I should have, much faster than I should have. I've just been happy to finish every day. Great. Iliomar is a fantastic town. I think this is probably one of the most amazing settings we've had so far in the Tour de Timor. So, yeah, it's been great. And it was really good to come in today.
It is a proud moment for the people here as they host arguably the most popular event in the country. And crowds of old and mostly young bask in the late afternoon sun as the winners are awarded their medals. It was also time for relaxation for many riders as they used the extra time to while the hours away.
Some people say to put on the butt cream. If not, it'll make you scream. Don't worry. Be happy.
The results for stage 3 have already been posted up. Indonesian rider Ahmad Yani was the first of the Indonesian team to finish in Iliomar, coming in at a respectable 31st position out of 351 riders who managed to finish the stage. For some volunteers, it was an opportunity to bond with the younger generation of Iliomar, all of whom have never seen a race of this scale, nor so many foreigners in their peaceful town. Volunteer Fabia Yazaki explains her role on the Tour de Timor.
We have to help out in the reception when they arrive. We have volunteers timing riders. We have volunteers helping out in the kitchen and serving food, parking the bikes. So basically anything that needs doing. It's a great opportunity to be part of it all for us that are not able to ride. Like these riders, it's really hard, so if we can help and participate, that's amazing.
Although the volunteers are constantly assisting in their various roles, all the riders are expected to set up their own campsites after the race, which is a unique experience for first-time participants. And tiring as it sounds, for many riders after a hard stage setting up their temporary homes at the end of the day, it can be a rewarding aspect for those who have finished earlier. The reward being able to pick and choose their ideal locations on the campsite ahead of everyone else. There are many UN volunteers for the Tour de Timor, but this one UN volunteer is aware of the challenges faced by the riders each day.
Wow, I felt very tired the second day to Iliomar on the driving, and I was crossing the river. There was the riverbed. We get like 5 or 6K inside the riverbed, and it was like, oh my God, how is it gonna be for these guys in the bike if for me it's tough in the car? So imagine, and it's really tough. Mountain bike, but it's a mountain with a really upper case, I have to say.
A much needed R&R was the best part of the course on stage 3, and it was evident that riders were enjoying their spare time in beautiful surroundings. Despite the competitive nature of the tour, there were many who were riding for a just cause, and unlike the top riders, it was a chance for others to visit their charities, with one rider doing her bit in this village town.
We're raising money for ETWA, which is our women's livelihoods group that's doing making ties and that for raising money for their community.
Team Malaysia has been a permanent fixture on the tour since the inception of the Tour de Timor in 2009 and have become one of the main team challenges this year. And for them, the campsite experience is something they're quite used to. For Australian rider Ashley Hyatt, however, it was all about relaxing mind games to pass the hours away. As the campsite fills up, one local rider reflects on his own experience so far on the tour.
Pada Tour de Timor ne sinti kapasos tambah wahir ta hal via base ka dari berapa ya kulisan dalam ya aku sih di taman laklubar hayo urutang ke 180 laklubar maya beasu tambah kulisan modu ya modu nebe agora usi beasu maya Ilomar harus tambah ya urutang ke 188.
It was also a time to catch a few winks, whilst for others it was a time to prepare for the next day in the comforts of their tent surroundings.
It's good for electrolytes.
Maybe I should take one of these in my bar.
You should. They say if you drink a coconut in Timor, you always return. Lush life.
Unfortunately, one area that is in constant demand are the bike mechanics Lewis Kerr, Tim Clark and Hazen Boy. These three young men have volunteered their time for the Tour de Timor and have been an integral solution to many riders' woes. It also includes Julia da Costa, the man who has unbelievably gone from strength to strength despite his apparent disability. As he quietly prepares in silence, Julio epitomizes the inner strength of the East Timorese and is an inspiration to everyone throughout this tour. Orphaned at a young age, Julio contracted malaria when he was 11 years old, leaving him permanently disabled. For the next 9 years, Julio worked as a cleaner in a convent as he could not afford school fees to educate himself. But when the inaugural Tour de Timor was launched, Julio saw the event as an opportunity to challenge himself, but could not afford the equipment needed to participate. However, after 2 years of trying, Julio was finally invited to be part of Michael Stone's team and has confounded many by finishing every stage thus far. Meanwhile, 2009 winner Neil van der Plug decides to jam with the local boys.
Christina,
You all know the song. It's very impressive. Yeah, they know what they're doing a lot more than we do. It's a pleasant change to hear people who can sing rather than just Scott and myself. We're not very good. These guys are really good.
Tinker is also impressed with the whole Iliomar experience.
This is really nice. I mean, this is actually the most greenest campsite that we've been at, and it's a perfect temperature too. It's not over hot or anything. So yeah, it's just turned out to be a great night.
With the tents all set up and a beautiful environment to savor, another day ends for the Tour de Timor. In the next episode of the Tour de Timor, Julio proves his mettle. It's double trouble for Paul van der Plug, and a rocky road ahead for riders.